Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 11th day of marketing program or marketing strategies during difficult times. Today we have with us Mr. Ujjwal Agrain. Mr. Ujjwal is heading the digital vertical of Future Reach. He is a media advisor to Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Sri Nitin Gadkari. He manages his online and offline media presence. Mr. Ujjwal is also co-founder of Work from Destination, a company which envisions to change the workspaces from boring concrete walls to beaches and mountains. With his niche in communications and technology, Mr. Ujjwal has worked in a variety of areas. He is former media advisor to the Union Minister of Water Resources, Susri Uma Bharti, where he not only strategized communications for the minister, but also led the communications team of Namami Gange, a pet project of Government of India. He has worked as Senior Research Fellow at Public Policy Research Center, where he has worked on improving the communications and outreach of various key projects of government, including Swachh Bharat Mission, Border Area Development Fund, among others. He started his career as journalist with Hindustan Times. His work gathered in the field of health journalism was recognized widely. He has a public policy certification from University of Chicago and has pursued PG in advertising and PR. Welcome you, sir, to the session to ASBM University. Now, I request Ujjwal sir to take the session. Over to you, sir.
I think I'm so sorry, everyone. I missed the entire 20-30 seconds when it started. So, should we directly jump in, sir? What do you suggest?
Please.
Do you want me to add anything? So, let's jump into the presentation and see how this works. So before we start, difficult times is the topic, right? So what exactly are the difficult times that we are looking into? Anyone who can start with a small discussion or a communication where we can just talk about it initially and then we can move forward. Hello, am I audible? Is anyone listening here?
Yes, sir. Your voice is audible.
Oh, okay. So I think you guys must have been going through a 2-week-long workshop around difficult and communication while in the difficult times. Anyone who has anything to add on what exactly is their understanding, how they have seen things working on, and what are the key things that they have took away from others' presentation? I think that those subjects I can just skip forward and then move to the real topic. A small brief, if someone can give to me, it will make my life easier. Yes. Anyone who wants to ask question, brief me about something. No one. Sir.
Hello.
Okay. Am I not?
Sir,
am I not audible properly?
Sir, the volume is low, I think.
Volume is low. I don't think I can start. How improve the volume of?
It's audible, but it's a low voice we can hear. It's audible, we can understand, sir.
Okay, so let me just try it without earphones and let's see if this works.
Hello, how is it now? Is it audible more?
Yes, sir, it's clear now. Better, sir, clear.
Okay, so I think this is a better format to start with. So I just wanted to know if anyone has a brief idea of how things really work, especially during the difficult times. You all of you guys might have gone through a lot of presentations and workshops within these 2 weeks and must have heard a lot about how to communicate better during difficult times. So how do you define difficult times? How is it different for a brand? Anyone who wants to start with? Okay, I think I should simply start. I think this will be better. Just going around is not a good idea. Can you see this image? Yes or no? Be expected at least?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's a Parle-G where the Parle-G has gone, right? So this is what social distancing has done during COVID. Can you see this? Who all of you are a Burger King fan though? Just to ask. Anyone? A more proactive participation could be expected. I hope I'm talking to the students here also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please tell me, have you seen this Burger King ad or not? 1, 2, 3 guys, anyone? Can you see this Burger King ad right now? This is how you make a burger in the quarantine life. Hello?
If people can say something or you can write down in the chat box. That will be more easy and convenient for the resource person to talk.
Yes, even the chatbot message can be great. Yes. Please, anyone who wants to respond can respond here in the chat box. I can also see it here. Okay, so I'm just continuing with the entire presentation here. When times have changed and when we talk about the difficult times, I'm starting with the Corona and this entire communication around Corona right now, but we'll move to the direction of what is difficult times communication and how brands really prepare to go through these communications as their strategy and how and what changes at the central part. So this one, I think, is the most flashy, very close to our heart, where the cute little Parle-G girl has vanished from the covers because, she's social distancing, staying indoor, not going outside, just to talk about how brands reach out and create awareness. Again, this Burger King ads again comes to the same point. If you see, how do you make a Burger King ad just staying by home? Go buy some groceries and make your own Burger King at your home. And then if you see this, has anyone got this? So I hope you remember KFC says it's finger licking good, but then you don't lick your finger these days, right? Interaction level is low. I really don't know if anyone is listening to me or not.
Yes, sir. Everybody is listening. They're writing in the chat box. Yes, sir.
Okay, so finger licking good is how they removed it only because the COVID, the difficult times. And then during the social distancing time, brands took out time to appreciate the kind of efforts that people who are very close to their entire system, their stakeholders, people who work very closely in order to ensure that the brand is there on the ground. So, not only Amazon India, but, big, large players like Big Basket, Grofers, Medicare, and Flipkart, these brands also went ahead and, the COVID heroes, they are the people who were on the ground, sending out those deliveries, sending out the food to you. They came down and appreciated. So what really changes with a brand is what really makes things appreciable. So the question that I really want to ask right now is, all of you must have seen a lot of social media. How do you see it is different while it was from a few days ago? What really do you see any change on your timeline from a few previous months to this time?
Yes, sir.
Yes and no. I think if you can come up with an example, tell me some story you must have seen, anything. This will create a more, this will open an opportunity, to talk to you guys and understand what exactly your understanding of the brand is. And then we can move ahead.
So like we saw many ads for awareing the consumers about social distancing, all government ads about it.
Indeed, yes. The government's ads change. Everything revolved around social distancing. Yes. What else? Anyone wants to add? Thank you, Sanjay. Awareness advertising, yes, awareness advertising is now the core of it. So I think we are almost on the same page and we can move ahead. So since you guys are working on MBA, why not start with some data and data crunching? Here are the big, large numbers that you see around social. This is January 2020 data. Post COVID, a lot of things have changed, and I'm sure this really changes too. But what is the mobile penetration? How are the numbers of people? What kind of numbers? So you see 91% of India's population at least owns some kind of mobile phone. And that is why, see, the entire idea of showing this data is to tell you how important it is to invest in digital and, online media, how important it is to go ahead and understand the kind of importance you need to put forward while you're working with some brands, while you're working with some organizations. When you're out of the college, you will be working with some kind of advertising, some kinds of communication with some brands where you would want to engage more and more people. And when it that, what is your go-to-go device? What is your go-to-go medium? So see, most visited site in India is Google, again Google. And what kind of data that really sells on social media, what kind of data that really sells on digital media, these are the kind of data. These are the kind of websites that people are really looking into. Should I move ahead and rush these part of presentation? Do you want to look back, stay, ask questions? If there is any question at any point of time, please send me on the chat board so I can understand. Anything? Any questions till now? Or should I move ahead? There doesn't seem to be a question, so let's just move ahead. So online content activities, what kind of online, what really people do when they go online? They watch a lot of videos. So for brands, it's important that, you create a lot of videos, you understand how the videos really work. And social media overview, what kind of social media activities, how many users are there, what kind of age group you're looking into, males, females, kind of age group, the key social media that you have. So what really changes recently is TikTok is no more there. I think all other, WeChat is no more there. A lot of other social media who are the Chinese now gets updated. YouTube still gets the largest share. Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram, they really do. And these have been capturing people's imagination. Let's come to content marketing. The data is over. Anything else from the data part? Anything from the communications part till now? Okay, so then again, a small data. How do you discover new brands today? And again, this is to emphasize on what we are going to talk about is on the digital and the social media front. So since when it comes to social media and digital front, these are the things that you really need to keep in mind, that these are the ways where you create brand presence, you create brand discovery, you make people know about how and things work, where are you discoverable and how you have seen things. You see a lot of this comes around the digital domain. Search engine comes around it, retail websites come around it, ads in social media comes around it, ads on websites come around it, ads in mobile and tablets apps comes around it. So a large part, so this has really changed over the few years, is that why digital is so important. Digital and traditional media is so important is because of this. So I think someone is asking to review the data section here. See, the data section that we have covered right now, this is just largely what kind of people are looking into, how many social media users do we have. I think after the end of the presentation, I can share this presentation with you and you guys can go through. The important part though is that we really understand that what kind of social media is what people are looking into, because once you start planning for a brand and you know what is digital media, how it really works, what kind of content there should be, what kind of content there should be creation, what are the key topics that you should be looking into, these can be derived largely from the data. So I have cherry picked a few data which can help you understand how, brand and brand discovery is all about creating perception about the brand. And these are the subjects where you create perception around the brand. And when these perceptions are created, these are largely through these channels of modes of communication. So now coming to what exactly is mass communication kind of digital media. I think to start with, the easiest way to go is that it has three large categories. First category is something called digital media and traditional. You know, digital media is not just social media. That also we need to clarify. Search engine comes out of it. The social media comes, but affiliate website. Going back to this data, you see anything which is beyond social media is also comes under the brand discovery part. Again, search engine, retail websites, all these things come as websites, come are the digital media format, but then they are different. But there are other ways to create communication also, and I think you must have gone through a lot of case studies and interesting stories from print media and electronic media engagement. While we are talking about difficult times, I think we'll also go back and understand from the few case studies how difficult things are. But in order to start with what difficult time is, you know, what exactly is a difficult time? I really want to know. A few, please answer this question here. Difficult time, not just pandemic, but difficult times from business. What difficult time? Because this is business management after all. And it's not just pandemic that comes, you know, that will create a reverse challenge here across. There will be other ways also. What are other ways that you see, you know, which creates difficult times? Yes, hardships. How? What kind of hardships does a brand can suffer? What kind of crucial times? You know, I can give one example is, you know, in case you handle something like, let's say you work with Hindustan Unilever, and one of the Hindustan Unilever brand, juice brands, you know, something goes crazy and someone drinks and dies from a juice. That is a difficult times. What kind of other difficult times do you see? You know, beyond pandemics, because pandemics is what we are seeing today. But in terms of business lectures, in order to understand how brands and brand advertising works, there's much more and beyond just the digital times, just the difficult times. Pandemics, yes. Recession.
Sir, can you say strikes, union strikes?
Yes.
One of the difficult times.
Absolutely. Strikes, yes. Slowdown, yes. And competitors threat, yes. Internal, external forces में hardships, how would you define that, Svetlina? Right. How would you define hardship, internal and external? Okay, so let's move on, try to understand this more. So COVID, yes. SARS, it was, yes. Terrorist attack, yes. But for brands, it's much more. It's faulty products and services, financial irregularity, you know, major injury and safety. And so when you look back, understand how organizations are made during these things, we must understand that, you know, there is a difficult time, and these can be produced from a lot of variety of situations. From a brand's perspective, anything which is unexpectedly bad publicity. So since we are talking about branding and advertising here, political forces, yes, legal and natural, yes, I think we are on the same page. So from the brand perspective here, anything which gives you unexpected bad publicity is bad times for you. Anything which gives you unexpected difficulty in dealing with things is bad publicity for you. So in a crisis, and this entire thing has to be mitigated. And how do we do it? So, in order to understand what kind of difficult things can catch up, it's we need to start mechanisms where we prepare for this. So one is a psychological preparedness. One has to be ready with one has to be ready and prepare a dossier, a document, prepare, one should keep on auditing on how exactly a lot of different situations can come which has to be managed. So this is fencing that you create, the fencing, the mental fencing and the organizational fencing as part of the communication. Because when it comes to difficult times, one has to do fencing, one has to create audit, one has to understand what exactly can go wrong with my brand, when it can go wrong, so that you have some idea and prepare for it in advance. So I would insist something called car umbrella. The car umbrella, it is very easy. You put that in your car. The moment it rains, you take out. Whenever it's when it's too hot outside, you take that umbrella out. Similarly, for the brand, for the organization, this is cross audience readiness. You need to create your readiness in a fact where you can immediately engage with all the key stakeholders. We'll come to key stakeholders who needs to be part of that is for sure. But then, entire risk mitigation, risk engagement, and this entire crisis situation that can come for your brand, that requires, one is fencing, second is storytelling, third is regularly preparing and preparedness before shit hits the fan. So, but what exactly is on an organizational audit? How would you do it? One is crisis communication response manuals. Has anyone seen? I think a few of you might have some experience of what exactly is the response manual. Can anyone start talking about it? Response manuals. Has anyone worked in a corporate organization and can enlighten me here? Hello? Am I audible? Are we listening? Are we on the same page? Has anyone seen anything like this thing called crisis communication or response manual? So let me just explain it to you. Crisis communication response manuals are the strategies that we create in advance when it comes to responses. There can be anything like, let's say you work with a power plant, and then that power plant leaks some, let's say some toxic materials. You know it that it does, but you also know that your brand has taken every care that it does not harms the sustainability of the environment. However, in case there is a leak, there should be some response manual on part of you as someone who works with a particular brand, with a particular organization, so that you have these answers ready. That, see, understand, we have 5 checks that we have made around this topic. These 5 checks involve number one, we take care of environment through this way, we do recycle it this way, 3-layer check process there. But do you have anything ready? So these are the crisis response manuals. Second is crisis teams and clear responsibilities. Yes, a well laid out plan is right. We are discussing it. Exactly, a well laid out plan. This is so crisis teams, and there should be different crisis teams who should be talking about. There should be clear responsibilities, because during when when the shit hits the fan, so it's like, ho gaya, things have gone really bad. The moment things go really bad, you should have, there should be no haywire situation where anyone talks, on behalf of the brand. It should start with, someone very logical, understanding, who has been trained to make people, go through, steer your brand through this, to take care of this. At least there should be one place where people should come forward and talk. There should be crisis control room when there is, all the front line. And see, the crisis from the communication part, it is very important to keep so it is very important to keep social media on check. There should be someone who should understand and handle media, because crisis communication is all about media handling. The moment you handle media better, everything at the end of the day turns into a good communication. Firefighters, ad hoc teams who know exact solution to a possible problem. Yes. And a laid out plan where all these things are there in format for manual. So holding statements and trained spokespersons, yes. Operational suits and phones, yes. So this is a matrix that we have created on what kind of fallouts and then how would you handle it. I think this is something for a lot of corporate people. What kind of risk categories are, who are your target audience, how to integrate those media. These matrices, once you start building, let's come to a case study so that, this is an interesting case study. I hope, has anyone heard about it? There were worms in Cadbury.
Yes, sir.
So let's understand from this case study. Has anyone taught you this? Should I skip, or would you like to know more about this? How Cadbury handled this? Or if you have been informed already,
Yes, I want to know.
Okay. So this is an interesting case study, Cadbury and the worm controversy. So in October 2003, people complained of there are Dairy Milk chocolates where there are worms. And, it was very starting, a lot of media coverage happened, a lot of difficult communication was so anyone, especially a brand such as huge as Cadbury, this entire thing just went out of. So Cadbury's advertising went, negative publicity went, people were seeing it. Because, kuch meetha ho jaye, we still see it. People have forgotten about it. So how did it happen? What really changed? Here it is. So during these times, what the company did was they immediately issued a statement saying that, we understand that it has come due to certain things. There can be certain possibilities how this can happen. And these are the things that we are taking care of. Immediately within 3 days, this happened. So this can also be compared with the Maggie, the different approaches there can be to handle the different kind of situations for the brand. There's also, we can create parallel with Maggie. If you remember, there was something called sodium permanganate. I hope no. So some chemicals were found which were suitable, if you remember. Moto ka kuch material aisa used to do this. So it was lead. If a different way is how Maggie handled it, but here how Cadbury handled it is, initiative 190,000 retailers, Vishwas campaign, they started doing it. 3-step program where wholesalers and people were given, packaging changed, design changed, product packaging design came in. Then they launched an ad campaign, roped in Amitabh Bachchan for the first time. A lot of expenditure was done in terms of packaging. So there are systematic changes that you do in order to ensure that there is no brand fallout. You do it through advertising, you do it through product improvement, you do it through clear communication, you do it through, changing things and accepting things where, a lot of things that, so changing and accepting your product as a mean where, you can improve things, and that really comes. So the idea is that when anything hits the fan, so when the shit hits the fan, all you need to do is, make clear understanding that it is difficult time and your brand can recover it. Once you don't do it, difficult times happens. If it does, the brand is saved. So mitigating risk is being media ready. How do we do it is here. media ordinance, is it too, I hope, yes, monosodium glutamate chemical was in Maggie, and then Maggie just sat around it. It asked people to do the cross check. It said to the brands very strategically that these are the active materials, but these are not harmful. So a different kind of approach was taken by Maggie, a different kind of approach was taken by Cadbury, and all these brands saved themselves and their images just by strategic communication. Can we move ahead? Is anyone aware of media fencing though, or the kind of media that has to be taken care of while there are difficult times communication? What exactly is media fencing? Can we start with and talk about it? Anything? Media fencing? Do you understand anything from media fencing? Media fencing, why would you do that? Why is it required? Why do we require that? Okay. So media fencing, let's talk about it. Media fencing is, anything that is for a brand is a breaking news. So for brands, for media, how SSR thing has blown out of proportion. Anything especially around the brand which is trusted, everything is going to get out of proportion. So you don't want to come to with a part of the breaking news. You don't want to. So what exactly is a media, and how does the media react with the crisis? Is that they want to reach out to you, but they will arrange special broadcasts. Local events will turn into national events. A small brand will create a lot of complication. So from this point, there's a small video from this, if you must have seen, I think while I was being told and informed about, I have worked very closely with Namami Gange program for the government of India, and this is from those example. Do you see this dirty water and this entire thing? Has anyone seen this video? Has any idea? This is a pollution video of Ganga which went viral. This video. Okay, no one has really seen it. So I remember, can we play YouTube videos here or not?
Yes, yes.
Let me just show it to you. The kind of brand crisis it created. So this particular video, if you see, is just 3.5 thousand views. But understand this, that it had at least a few million views on Facebook and other social media. Just showing you for an example of how a crisis was created and how it was averted. Just an example. I think you guys must have got the crux of it, right? Bad pollution, it can be done, but audio won't be available. I know. Yes. So I think you must have seen the video at least. So just to give you a brief idea of how exactly things go bad. So this particular time, so the Baba that comes in this video talks about pollution on Ganga at a particular Nala. So this was one of those places where National Mission for Clean Ganga or Namami Gange had failed in terms of creating a lot of difference because because the planning and the strategy part of it, sewage construction and sewage treatment plant construction takes a lot of time. Let's say it takes up to 5 years, 7 years to construct a sewage treatment plant, because these are huge infrastructure projects which reduces water pollution. So how would you suggest something like this could have been captured, given that you handle a brand which has just hit with a communication crisis, and everything has gone bad, people are talking negatively about it, and they understand now that Ganga is very poor and polluted. Anyone? Or should I ask a different question? How do you perceive Ganga now? Is it very polluted, or the pollution level has reduced? How do you perceive it? Just a quick yes, a quick few responses, please. Chandan, Svetlina, Shiva, anyone? Reduced now. And why would you say that pollution has reduced? Chandan says it's very polluted. Others think that it has reduced. Why do you perceive that it has reduced? Sanjay also thinks it has reduced. Why do you perceive that it has reduced? Only due to lockdown? Awareness. See, so let me just try and define.
Sir, we often see the government ads about the.
Uma Bharti ma'am is working on it, okay? So yes, so when it comes to, someone was saying something, I remember. Please continue. I want to hear that.
Yes, sir. We are often seeing the ads about the Namami Gange project and its successful achievements about the clean the river banks of Ganga, Haridwar, and those cities. That's why we perceive it is the pollution reduced.
So no. So further to that, if I had to explain, I would say it like this. So see, Namami Gange program, a lot of projects started as early as when the current government started and came into play. However, there was very much of bad perception about it, because see, any day if I would say today that no of the Nala went and made the river polluted, I'll be saying it wrong. No, a lot of these nalas has been captured and polluted river water is going less in the river, but still some amount of pollution is happening. So anything like this, a video or a blog can be made, and a lot of negative perception can be created about what kind of work is being done. So we adopted 2 or 3 pronged strategy around it while dissuading this. First one was to engage with the right stakeholders. So we started with the first thing that we did was we made a video on the same lines of how different it is while it was from 6 months ago. So first thing is to act on a problem. That location that you see was quickly converted into a small water treatment capacity where temporary arrangements was made through something called phytoremediation. Phytoremediation means plants were used to reduce the pollution in the nalas so that the pollutants don't get and fixed in the water. Second comes the communication part, strategy and mitigation of this entire crisis communication. A video was captured. The people who are same ways involved in the people who wrote and created these messages, these videos were answered, engaging them, and a series of videos went out on the social media. Next was a lot of project videos came in, where a lot of videos where people saw how things are being built differently, how water treatment water is being created, and these all things went out. At the end of the day, it's a very small process. A few years ago, all of us believed that Ganga is very polluted. Today, we believe that Ganga is very much less polluted. And everything that we see today, a lot of it has happened because of the strategic communication, creating some level of awareness among the people that the government is trying to do. And all these things happen very slowly and strategically in terms of communication, where the kind of work that is being done on different projects, the kind of the quality of water that has changed at different locations, phytoremediation or the processes where general and the green technologies are used to create differences. Everything was taken care of, put in, and tried to improve this entire thing. Is there a message? Okay. So yes. So are we clear? Are we on the same page right now? Is there any question, especially around Ganga? If you want to ask, please do. No questions. So during difficult communication, during crisis communication, yes, this can, if you see, this is also a difficult time for a brand where, years of hard work has taken toll, and people now perceive it as something which is not really working on it. So another difficult time, another difficult question. And can we take 5 minutes break from here, so that if there is certain questions, we can take it ahead, and then on the second part, we'll talk about stakeholder communication, how to create and those communication, and what kind of stakeholders there are, how would you like to reach out to them? And then we take a few of other brand questions and digital media strategy things. Okay, so 5 minutes break, we connect again. So are we ready? Can we continue with this? A few more responses would be appreciated. Yes, I think. Yeah, guys, please get involved more. I would like to know more because I have never taken a workshop, where I need to so much push for this entire. Yes, thank you for being so anyone. Yes. So let's say we can continue from here. So what I really want you to see right now is this. Okay, let me just start presenting now. So, I want you guys to, before we jump into the next section, please note this. And if you want to go ahead and research on this, you can research on 2-3 very interesting topics. One is Telenol. So Telenol is a blood pressure medicine. So Telenol cyanide case is for JJ, Johnson and Johnson. This is a very interesting case study when it comes to what is the right way of doing things. Let's say if a medicine goes wrong in the market, for a huge company like Johnson and Johnson, a lot can go wrong. Johnson and Johnson faced a huge backlash on the Johnson's baby powder being carcinogen. You can also take a look into this and how they have handled this entire thing. Second, how would you react to different problems? Delaying the tactics, just don't react. Allow people to communicate, allow media to being suspicious, but still handle it well. This is the reactive way of doing things. And sleeping while the blood is still running on is what we spoke about. Maggie, they just paused for a second, tried to understand what exactly is happening in the market, and assumed that the truth will ultimately prevail, because this is something which a brand did not require to do a lot of activities. Are we on the same page on this? There are 3 interesting case studies that I want you guys to do a bit of internet research, and anyone who really wants to get back on this can come back on this and ask any question if they want to. But these are very detailed case studies and very interesting to understand how one should respond during a crisis. So 3 communication things that I think a case study can be done: Telenol, Johnson & Johnson ka, Exxon Mobil and Exxon Valdez, and then absolutely the Maggie case study. Anything from the Ganga project that we shared or from the Cadbury project that we just spoke about, please add a few things here, ask a few questions if you want to. No questions, please. People are clueless, are they? I would assume that people are clueless because these are very interesting case studies. People can know more. Telenol case study, can you tell me a brief of what happened to the company? I had a trouble picking. No, so I have not explained the Telenol case study yet. What I am requesting you guys is to do that research for you. A small brief on exactly what happened wrong in this is that a huge batch of somewhere from one batch, someone mistook the medicine, someone made some packaging errors, someone who mixed 2 medicines within the same, and it reacted to some of the patients. Just one package from one bottle in US. No, it isn't unsolved. They picked up, they took the entire batch back, and a repackaged new version of the entire product was done, and it was done pan America. There was also something called, if you know Taco Bell, there was also a Taco Bell crisis that happened where Taco Bell there were some worms which were found in the Taco Bell, and then they also handle it very strategically, cleaning the rooms, sharing it, how they prepare their food, videos and campaigns on how exactly they respect their brand and their people, and a lot of other things that immediately happened around the brand. So these are difficult times communication when we are talking about. Telenol, I really want each of you to do a small research and then come back so that you have some more understanding of the subject. Because these are very detailed case studies and would really take a lot of time in terms of making you understand. The easiest I took was of Cadbury, because it is very close to us. All of us might have closely seen happening very close to us. Any other question besides Telenol? Svetlina, except Svetlina, anyone has any other question, please? Satya, Shiva, anyone? Chandan? Should we go ahead? So no questions, we are going ahead. So this, we are talking about protocols. And while talking about protocols, these are the stakeholder communications, the real stakeholder communications matrix, if you see. So when we talk about stakeholder communication matrix, it is important to understand that, there are different categories of, so how would you, so there's a learning curve for anyone to understand. So when it comes to branding and advertising, when it comes to content marketing, this very well holds. First step is to create awareness. Second is to create understanding. Third is to create involvement. And fourth is to create commitment. So when it comes to sales funnel, it will convert into awareness, involvement, and then sales. When it comes to brand awareness, it will be awareness, involvement, and commitment. When it comes to other things, largely when it comes to, so let's say, for mobile applications, it will be more and more acquisition. For brands, it will be more and more customer acquisition. For anything like OYO, the end result will be acquisition in terms of people coming in and checking into the hotel. So end result can be different, but the strategy remains the same. You need to create awareness. So of all the things that you see here, tactics, newsletters, reports, memos, free publicity is again, people talking about you is free publicity. And everything has an underlying digital and social media, strategy that gets involved within and from inside it. Understanding is to create more and more, connect with your brand, connect with your own audience, connect with your own people. Then the third is involving people, asking people to talk to you. You might have seen a lot of brands where they are asking questions from their people. So about involvement, there's something called Krispy Kreme. Has anyone heard about Krispy Kreme? Krispy Kreme donuts, they make donuts. Yes or no? Or then I would give you a small brief of exactly how that brand got launched in India just by the involvement of the brand. So Chandan says they know about the Krispy Kreme. So Krispy Kreme is a donut brand. It got launched somewhere around 2014, and I was working with an agency called Frogworks out during that time. I am reminded of that case study only because involvement to tell you how brand strategies work for involvement. This is really important to understand. So Krispy Kreme India donut wanted at least 1 lakh people to tell them, please come to India before they come to India. So there was awareness campaign which was launched. People were asked to talk about it. They were encouraged to tell their donut moments, their sweet moments, their sweet cherish moments, their best cafe stories. Create more and more people talk about you in terms of stories that we retain. Because again, communication is all about storytelling. I hope each of you guys must have been told about this again and again in all the presentations that comes into you, because this is it. Communication is all about storytelling. And when it comes to storytelling, these are the core ideas that we need to keep in mind while creating a dialogue strategy in order to create the strategy. So what is informational strategy? So if you see, there are 3-4 strategies. One is informational, second is persuasive, third is involvement, and fourth is commitment strategy. So in terms of informational strategy, we start with organization and move to the stakeholder. So it's like you need to create information about it. You need to send out press releases. You need to send out company reports, websites, social media. You need to tell about your product. So like, what is the Maggie experience that you do? What is the water experience for the Bisleri bottle? talk about how your brand stands out on different categories and communications. Second, if we add the entire feedback loop in this entire communication strategy, then it comes to become persuasive strategy. The idea is to sell your brand's products. So it's very difficult for people. So marketing and communication is all about selling. Selling is encouraging people to buy your product, your idea, your thought, your strategy. How would you do that? Is persuade them to go and buy is by creating a favorable image or idea of the brand. Sell a particular product, understanding what are your key values and this. So when this feedback loop happens directly with the brand, then it becomes the dialogue strategy. Are we clear till here? Is there any question that you want to ask, please? Dialogue strategy, we have persuasive strategy, we have informational strategy. The dialogue strategy is when there's one-to-one communication happening with the brands and against the brands. It's dialogue strategy. So informational strategy is one-way communication. Persuasive strategy is two-way communication with a feedback loop. Dialogue strategy is two-way communication with a direct standpoint and mutual understanding between the two things. Please ask questions from here. Do you want me to explain once again? I am happy to do that. Dialogue strategy. Hello? Yeah. So for dialogue strategy, you want certain, this is a dialogue strategy. Can you see the Bisleri ad here? First one, safe, protected. So I think it's on this dialogue strategy part. See the first creative, it says person at home is safe. Person at home plus what is protected. And it says hint, answer is kept at the doorway, zoom to decode. So when you zoom at the doorway, let's see what is there. Can anyone see what is there at the doorway? Is it audible? Is it visible right now? I don't know if it goes clearly. There's a water bottle kept, Bisleri water bottle. A brand is an individual is going to communicate with you, is going to interact with your brand when you ask them to do something out of it. Yes, there is a bottle, and that is how you are staying protected. So this is like engaging with the audience, interacting with them, creating dialogue with them, within social media, but then not only social media, but a lot of other things. So that is a dialogue strategy. Anything else? Persuasive strategy and dialogue strategy is persuade is one step earlier than the dialogue. Let me show you one example. Is there any? So persuasive strategy is the second creative. If you see the Bisleri persuasive strategy, worried about the safety and well-being of your family during these testing times. Okay, this is persuasive strategy when it talks about a brand's ethos, that there's a doorstep delivery of Bisleri water bottles. This is persuading you to buy it. There is an interaction, there's a link, there's a mobile number, there's call to action. Okay, but you are not directly engaging with the brand at any point of time. You are just taking a feedback loop. You might want to call them, you might want to contact them, you might want that water bottle there. But then this is persuasive strategy, to persuade someone. No, it is not. If you see, it has no mention of social media here. See, dialogue strategy and persuasive strategy. Do you see social media here? Early incorporation, collective problem solving. Debates with the people. Discussions, offline discussions with the right stakeholders. Anything can be dialogue strategy. So dialogue strategy is also what you see, what Hindustan Unilever does with all its wholesalers. So they do wholesaler In terms of ads, yes, in terms of ads, you do. So there can be dialogue strategy also with the print ads, not only the digital ads, but in terms of ads, yes, this is so media ads. Then again, dialogue strategy happens with media, but not only from media. Offline interaction, hotel interaction, taking forms and notes, all these comes and becomes the part of the dialogue strategy. They do, yes, this is part of it. So it is like there's a process of continuous, Chandan, there is a process of continuous development in terms of product when you're working very closely with a brand. The right stakeholders for Unilever, the right stakeholders are the wholesalers, because they are the people who really interact with the medium. They can't go ahead and talk with each and every of the people who buy their brand. So what they do is they try to talk to those stakeholders who are directly involved with the brand, with the company, with the organization, tell them, introduce themselves, and then they ask questions from them. As part of dialogue strategy, there will be closed room discussions on how different products are faring, why they are faring so much, what kind of complaints are coming in, and then they try to improve products. They might be repackaging that is suggested. They might be, point of sales advertising. I hope you understand point of sales advertising, or do I need to explain that? Have you been taught about point of sales advertising? There are different kinds of strategies when it comes to advertising. Point of sale advertising is the one which you see at the different shops. You might have seen Coca-Cola branding on the refrigerators of the cold drink shops, or the bingo, bingo chips box that is kept at different locations. Lays ka box hota hai, that is kept at different locations. These are point of sales advertising. So in dialogue strategy, you recognize what kind of marketing opportunity can be created, what kind of product opportunity can be created, what kind of brand strategy and brand opportunity that can be created in terms of for a brand to excel in a particular field. Does that explain, or do you want me to elaborate anything else? Please. It does. Okay. Any other question? Anyone? Apart from Chandan and Svetlina, others are not interacting at all. Come on. Just 2 people in the entire batch. We have 22 participants here. Sir, any of the professors and teachers would want to know anything else from this point? I would be happy to explain. Because this is the most important part of this presentation. This has to stay with you. In difficult times when you interact, there are different kinds of strategy that you need to prepare. All those strategy starts with auditing, understanding, fencing. Auditing is understanding what are the pitfalls that can happen with your brand. Second, when you do that, you need to understand that at different perspective, there will be different stories that are coming in. And then from that perspective, you need to build different strategies. So this is, I think, the crux of the presentation here. Persuasive dialogue strategy, information strategy. And then let's talk about what kind of opportunities. So when you talk to different stakeholders, when you create that communication, how is this going to really help you? This is going to help in creation of productive relationship with these right stakeholders. Stakeholders definition to nahi karna padega. This is an MBA group, I hope. Or do you want me to explain who are the stakeholders? Please explain to me. Yeah, this is a better question. How I should frame it like this. Please, who are the stakeholders? If you understand, what kind of different stakeholders are there? Guys, stakeholder, do you know? If you don't, I can explain it that also. But if you do, please tell me. Stakeholder communication, stakeholder, nothing has really come out from anyone yet. No one. Stakeholder communication. Stakeholder. Anyone who is the part of the brand is stakeholder. Buyer, yes. Seller, yes. Companies, yes. Organizations, yes. Government organizations, yes. Media, yes. Your shareholders, yes. Your internal audience, yes. Your employees, yes. Anyone who not only, yes, investors, absolutely. All these are stakeholders. Stakeholder communication is very important. And when it comes to stakeholder communication during difficult times, it starts with one, auditing, fencing, the message fencing. Third, it comes down and boils down to customers and creation of these communications. So how do we create those opportunities? Is build productive relationship with the stakeholders, create more cooperation, what kind of challenges people are really threat at times. So stakeholders should be strategically handled so that, at the end of the day, every company has just one goal: to increase the profits, to make them more visible, to, as business function, they need to be improving in terms of sales, advertising, communication, and at the end of the day, creating more and more brand value. So a multidisciplinary approach is required. I've told you, digital, yes; communication, yes; print ads, yes; group engagements, yes; stakeholder communication, group engagement, yes. And then how would you collaborate? So stakeholder, if there is mixed, there is different. If they are non-supportive, you need to defend. If they are marginal, you need to monitor. If they are supportive, you need to ask them involved. And if there is mixed, you need to collaborate. So this is how you need to, so all the stakeholders that we just spoken about can fit in all these four matrices. And when the shit hits fan, you need to focus on these key four areas before, if they're supportive people, you need to involve with them. If they are marginally supportive, you need to monitor them very closely. If they are defensive, then you need to, if they are non-supportive, you need to defend your brand in terms of, they are like stakeholder communication, like let's say investors, you need to collaborate with the investors. So all these communication as a part is not just communicating outside the world, outside the system, but within the system. And then again, a few examples of how exactly different brands and communications are trying to create a communication around different subjects. These are difficult times. COVID is one of them. COVID के लिए तो सबसे अच्छा example है. There are different brands who are trying to reinvent themselves to increase their sales, reach out to the right stakeholders, ask them right questions, give them right responses. And everything is happening through digital and traditional, since this is the core of it. So I've largely focused it onto this. But then difficult communication is not just about digital and traditional communication. It's much more beyond this. This is stakeholder communication. This matrix you should remember. These are the two key takeaways, I think, from this presentation. I think I'm done with this presentation. Please ask questions. I'm happy to answer them. No questions. We are done with the meeting. We are done with the workshop. Sir. Okay. You have some question? No. See, it's not true that Instagram marketing is completely off the road and other social media communications are failing. There are different kinds of audience, and it all depends on the different kinds of brand. Tell me, do you think that a tractor brand would want to do a more of Facebook advertising or the Instagram advertising? In order to reach out to women and female customers, it is very important to do advertising on Pinterest, not just Instagram. No. So, see, there is branding and marketing opportunity for every product, for every brand. The strategy that has to be decided should come back to this, talk to people in the right medium, on the right place, and then what kind of different media people are consuming. Come back to this data. If you want to promote, if you want to talk about it, create brand awareness, you need to look at this matrix and data and understand what kind of audience, different audience at different locations are there, and how would I reach out to them. So it's not compulsorily Facebook, it's not compulsorily Instagram. All these media and definition of media. So these are very detailed and elaborate ideas and strategies that has to be taken care of. So these strategies, when it comes to the brand strategies, one should be very careful. And this is a very long discussion that we can have for hours on in order to brainstorm on what kind of media mix is right kind of media mix for a particular brand. And this requires a much more brainstorming session. So when it comes to your question, Svetlina, I think brands, Instagram is a good thing. If you use it very frequently, you'll see a lot of brand ideas coming on that page. But then that does not mean that other social medias are not useful. Depending on the kind of brand that is, depending the kind of audience that has, you will require different digital, non-digital media, social media, digital media, search engine, banner ads, search engine marketing, website advertising and marketing, even news and PR advertising. All these things are required based on the kind of requirement that a client has, a brand has. If you want to give us an example, we can do a small brainstorming session right now. Okay, so let's try to do this. Okay, so let's say, have you seen paper clips, paper pins? वो जो red color का होता है, red, yellow, pink, green, you get all those paper clips, right? So how would you sell that paper clip without? So give me one idea of how you want to see the entire world should know that your paper clip is there. And there is no budget that is involved in advertising that you can give, but you want people to know about your brand. Let's try this brainstorming. Just a random example that I have. Ideas, please throw up ideas. This is just a small brainstorming before we finish. Just to understand if anyone has picked up anything here. Do you want me to ask the question again? I can do that. I think a few people have already left before I started saying that let's wind this presentation up. We are done. Okay, Chandan. So then how would you advertise stainless pin with all the different colors? Okay, so you want to advertise that stainless brand. Yes. How would you do that? But then you don't have money, Svetlina. How would you spend on advertising? And quality of it, paper pin mein kaisa quality? Paper pin is a paper pin, sharp paper pins. There is no other quality that you can show. On the packet, yes, packaging can be a good idea, but then packaging is, how would you do the packaging? Okay, so packaging on the packet, you want to advertise and tell them that it's a good idea. But then any other brand ka bhi packet, you can see packet.
Sir, actually, if we target
how would you
the
lead someone to
distributor,
your brand?
sir, actually, if we target the distributors and retailers, then they will purchase my product rather than other companies' product. Then obviously because customers don't when customers go to buy any paper clip, they never see the company of the product. So if we target the distributors and retailers, they actually buy my product and don't buy other companies' product. That's how I create the market between this locality.
So, Chandan, this is a sales strategy, not exactly an advertising marketing strategy. When you try to, mix match, so these are two different things, I guess. You guys are into management institute, you know it much better than any other. This is a sales strategy where you can manipulate a certain set of people and then ask them to sell your more product. Okay, how would you do social media or any other media as in fact? Try, there's some very aggressive ideas. कैसे इसको viral करना है? The question is that you want to create a viral. How would you create a viral engagement idea? Less money, still you want to do a viral campaign. Suggest a good branding social media maybe a social media idea. Why not? Since a lot of people are leaving right now, unique advertisements on social media. Yes, we do unique advertisement on social media, Chandan. I think a lot of people are already leaving. So should I just finish this with some food for thought, or give you a few random ideas that I can think of right now? Good idea, Svetlina. Good idea. Pinterest and Pinterest boards with your pins is a good idea. You can also create a photo, an Instagrammable post where your pins are put there on your work table, and then good picture-worthy images are created. What I would think I would do is that maybe I'll make an India gate of that that colored pin and put that in front of an India gate and take the picture of it and share on social media. What do you think? This can be a good idea. People would want to see it, and then we can see make a series of it. Ask people who are living in Odisha to make the same for maybe for the temples that are there, Jagannath Puri temple. Then we might want to do maybe a gateway of India through paper pins, picture, background, foreground. We can target we can do an exhibition there. People would want to see what kind of good idea, so what kind of things are there. So maybe India Gate के बाहर हमने एक बड़ा सा बैनर ही लगा दिया जिसपे पेपर पेन से लोगों को बोल दिया आप इंडिया गेट बनाओ. People are going to get engaged, yes. And then these are kept as exhibitions saying people interacted here. This is People's India Gate. And then at the end of the day, your brand, you can get a lot of media traction. You can get a lot of social media traction. Create unique videos, make laughter videos, good photo opportunities. So what I'm trying to convince here is that some products as vague as a paper pin, you know, a lot of things can be thought of in terms of brand, advertising strategy, communication strategy, in terms of quality communication, stakeholder communication. And in these difficult times, a lot can be spoken about the brand. All you need to do is to understand how to create that difference and how to catch those eyeballs. Are we good on this? Yes. Sir, so should we just close this? I think I've given also some tasks you guys to research on this. Telenol is one of them. Exxon Mobil is another. Please do some research. Is there anything I can be easily reached out? Ask your people for my email address. If you want to reach out to me, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you in anything beyond this also.
Any questions from the participants? I think we have covered everything, all the points. So coming to the last of the session. So thank you very much, sir, for explaining all the important points of digital and content marketing by giving relevant examples, Maggie, Cadbury and everything to explain the fundamental concepts. It was an informative session and I'm sure that the participants will use this information and knowledge in their respective fields. Whatever the assignments you have given, definitely they will come with these assignments. I'll share your details, mail ID, so that they can communicate with you directly. So on behalf of ASBM University, we convey our gratitude for being with us, sir, for a beautiful session. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Again. Have a good day, sir. Thank you all the participants for your
yes,
participation.
Of you, especially Svetlina and Chandan, you guys are amazing. You really interacted. I really, so whenever I have taken my workshop, you know, it has been classrooms and there has been a lot of engagements with a lot of people. I really am a communications person. I would want people to talk to me in order to, you know, a lot can come out of it if you ask the right questions. Thank you so much. I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you.